Number 5, that we want to just put down basic concepts that we can start building something new, or maybe see something new. Remember, this is not a new church model. This is a template of how we can build together relationally wise. After today, we still need to build it. It is not being built here. It is just the boundary lines. And everyone needs to build it in his own life, in his own ministry. This is just a way how we can build together, that anyone can run as fast as he can. We can help each other, and that we are always complementing each other, and we are not in competition with each other. It is a very important thing that I found out in seminary, in 1 Corinthians 4 verse 6, that the Bible says we must not think and speak above what is written in the Word of God. Many people have said to me from this verse, I'm making issues. I'm still standing on this principle. I have had a professor on university. He could talk 40 minutes in Afrikaans, and you can't discover what is the topic. You can't discover what is the topic. Not even speaking, what does he say about the topic? That is undiscoverable. I'm serious. I will give you some of his notes. You will not even tell me what is the topic, what he's talking about. He has developed a language in Afrikaans that just no one knows. And everyone walks out there and they say, oh, that was spiritual. I say, no man, this is the king on the horse with no clothes on, and no one is willing to say, listen, you're naked. It's not spiritual. It's a development of a mind trick of a person that's extremely genius in terms of his mind, creating stuff that's impressing people but saying nothing. It's influencing nothing except that it makes people stand in awe. But nothing comes out of it. It's a bubble. It doesn't land. It doesn't earth. It doesn't produce any fruit. Except we admire you. We admire you. You're so big. You're so high. You're so whatever. And he's using words for things that you have never heard in your life. And we must come to this place that we say to ourselves in the first place there, that the word church is nowhere in the Bible. Although all the Bibles, except I think it's the Old King James and the Old Afrikaans, are using the word church. The word church is nowhere in the language. It is a derivative from the word kuriakon, meaning those that belong to the Lord. It is not a translation, it's a derivative. And as long as we speak church, we will build church. And the reason why this course is it church or congregation, is to want to tell you it is not about church, it's about congregation. Church does maybe exist, but it doesn't exist in the Bible. There's nothing in the Bible about church. And I've never seen people getting to make the correct things, steps in their life, if they just don't stop talking about the thing from the wrong viewpoint. People say, just it's another perspective. It's just another word for the same. It isn't the same thing. Ask people, what do they think when they think church? Programs, events, cars, admin centers. Is there anything wrong with those things? No, there's nothing wrong, but that's not church. Maybe that is church. But the Bible talks about congregation. Congregation is people. People that can gather in small groups, cell groups, that may have some types of events and conferences from time to time, but congregation is only people. Congregation is family. Church is not family. We've said it's family, and then we built it church-wise, and then we say it's congregation, and therefore we never can fix this whole thing because we're running over everything, and we need to stop it. And I tell you, it's difficult to stop it because we're so into this thing talking about it. Yeah, but your paradigm of church is church, but it's not the thing in the Bible. So stop talking about it. Take all the good stuff that was in church and take it out and put it on the table and say, listen, let's now build congregation, and we may use some of these stones. Of course. And it's not that I've got a reaction against church. It's not the content of church that's wrong. It's the way we've been putting it together in a structure that is killing relationships. It's killing participation. It's always going down to a central point of organizing and whatever. And it is not the way that the head is working. The head is working from a central point of Christ and not from a central point of man. And you can run this thing, but I tell you, every person coming out of that thing that's being run like a church, I tell you, listen, when the senior pastor speaks, it is the Alpha and Omega, you shut up. You've got problems. I've been there. I've been in those things. There's not freedom there. Is there something wrong being a pastor? No, we've got the fivefold ministry. We will get to that. But I tell you, I am absolutely convinced that we've got stuff that we call churches, but it is not in the Bible. We've got something in the Bible that's got its name congregation, that make use of even things and events that we have in church life that is in essence not wrong, but we build differently. Because we always built to enhance and free relationships and to get everyone's participation in the program. It does matter what we use. Therefore, if the other thing I want to say is that also in the Bible, nowhere it's being said, go and plant a church or even plant a congregation. Nowhere. It's never said that you plant. Oh, we sow and we wet in people's lives personally. We don't do anything after that. Nothing. It is not your world. You're not supposed to be there. Our responsibility is discipleship. Jesus has said one thing, go and disciple. It's a relational thing. It's one-to-one. It's person-to-person. He's never said build the big thing, build the structure, build the meetings, build the whatever. He's never said it. Can we make use of it? Yes, but it's never the focus. It is only congregation, not church. Number two, it is never planting it. You never plant a church. People say, I want to plant a church. Yeah, but you need to be in church and you need to be 10 years there. You need to be very high up and you need to be fivefold before you plant a church. Because we're battling in planting churches because we need very high developed fivefold ministry to run a church. And then it's not working even. People, I've been all over this country. And I'm telling you, I can't tell you, I know about, because you cannot always say this is a church because you've got churches that's got a lot of congregational thing in it. But the churches that I know in this country that is still running and where there's something that's live there, is churches that's built, let's say, built more and more on the congregational principles. Because it's the only principles that will keep life there. The more you go over to something that's accommodating the people and releasing Christ, and stirring the relationships, the more there will be maybe still the buildings and whatever, but you will find life there. So be careful we're not here to criticize and shoot people. But I tell you, 99% of churches that I know around the country is in severe problems, severe. Charles is going all around, more than me. I tell you, it's got all, and the problem is constantly the way that we do leadership, the money is just not there, the people is just not pitching any longer. Somehow, something is not working. And we can deny it, but it is not working. To find a place where I get to a leadership of a church and they say, man, there is so much life here. We don't know what to do with it. The people is just getting saved. It is a total overwhelming. We don't know what to do. I don't find places like that. You don't find it. Especially don't find it in churches on average. Why? It's not supposed to be like that. And we constantly, in handling and dealing with churches and planting it myself, we are on a constant fight in sorting out fights, and a constant process in sorting out people that's not in line, and there's always just nonsense. You can't believe it. And me sitting into, top leaderships of lots of congregations. When I leave always, I think to myself, God, this is not the thing that I've been thinking of. Man, this is beautiful. This is wonderful. This makes me so excited. I just want to burst out of myself. The agenda of the meetings is just problems and problems and problems and problems and people that's not in line and whatever, and we don't know how to deal with this stuff. It's not an overflow of life. It is constantly this negative mode that we're running in, and we just can't get out of it. And when you move this one die, or if he goes away, you put another leader there. That is severe crisis. Then he comes in with his own paradigm, his own vision, and he just cancel everything that was on the program, and then the people are in total whatever, and we start all over again. Just for the next phase to find the same thing happening. And therefore, we battle to go over 75. You find churches in South Africa that gets to 200. Guess what is the most important thing why you will reach 200? It is not the pastor, it is the admin system. If you can't build a decent admin system, you will not have 200 people. It's got nothing to do with spirituality. Then you will get 400, then you will get 1,000. And I tell you, to get over 1,000 is extremely difficult. And the only way to get above 1,000, you stop the relational stuff, you just do events, you say, people come, this is it, 1 hour out, hour in, hour out, do what you want to do, this is it, give your tithes and be gone. Nothing else. Nothing else. I've been phoning one of our biggest congregations in South Africa about Moneywise. They told me, listen, you tell me that you run a course for 12 weeks. We can, with all the thousands of people, we cannot get people committed for four sessions. It's impossible. We have seen it over decades now. It's impossible. Don't even talk about 12 weeks. Why? Because we give them a Sunday service and they go home and that's it. So don't even apply for, There's nothing in the week here. Nothing. And they've got thousands of people. And guess what? The people love it. Because I've been attending. But the mature people don't love it. That's the problem. Okay. Let's go on. The question is now, the point is also this. It's not church, it's congregation. The second thing that we said, we don't plant a congregation or even not a church especially. The third thing about it is that there are only one congregation in a town. There are not 3 congregations in a town like Paris. There's one congregation. We have subdivided it into one congregation but 10 churches. Nowhere in the Bible, the congregation is subdivided into something small where some person has got control over that smaller little dam. Nowhere. I find it nowhere. I find nowhere in the Bible that there's any person that's mentioned that have control over that smaller dimension of church, because that's what we call church. Denomination. It's nowhere in the Bible. I found strong leadership in the Bible. Yes, of course. But I don't found that type of leadership there. Because we need to rethink this whole thing. It's about congregation. But now we sit here in Pretoria, it's much more complex. And there's maybe 500,000 believers around here. How do you earth this thing? Somewhere we need to earth it. I can't fellowship with 500,000 people not even knowing where they are. The point is, you can't fellowship with 500 people, even though you can get them together. What's the purpose of getting them together? It may look very impressive, for the moment or for the hour or 3, but for what? Who's impressed? The devil? God? Us? Maybe it's only us that are impressed at the end of the day. In Hebrews 3, there is a very, very important verse of Scripture, verse 1 to 6, that's saying that you can go and read it there. It's very beautiful. It says that Christ was faithful over his house that he was appointed to, as Moses was faithful over his house that he was appointed to. And I believe that the concept or the word house is a very important concept, but we need to get back to. Christ did have a house. Moses had a house. If you are a leader or whatever, every one of us are somewhere in a house. And the house are basically the concept that says it's not only your physical house or your physical family, it starts there, but the house are the people that you are relationally responsible for. And I just take people and I say, listen, let's forget now about all this church involvement of yours. That's not wrong or this, but you're confused in all of this. Let's get order. The first point of order is, okay, there's all these things of congregation. The second point of order is, write me down who is in your house. And if there's more than 12 people in your house, you may be overworked. Okay, because that's very much, if you are a full-time career. So, yes, my wife, okay, I've got 3 children, and 2 of them are married, so there's another extended family, 2 of them. I've got these 2 brothers of mine that we are mentoring each other, 2 believers, and I've got these 2 unbelievers that I'm having connect group or discovery group with. Okay, there it is, 8 people, no 10, more or less 10. I'm thinking about a certain guy. Then it's 10 people. Okay, this is now your house. This is the people you tell me God has told you, you are responsible for. Not me, you. This is your house. This is actually the congregation, the very little part of congregation that is your responsibility because they are in your house. You have maybe a little bit of a program how you minister and how you as a house do the thing. We'll get to that. But let's just get who is your house. And now you cancel everything that is not your house. Everything that's not helping and supporting this house, you cancel because it's wrong. No, it's not wrong. It's a question that you need to take responsibility for what is your responsibility. What does it mean that you involved there? It is not your house. You need to get at your house and define it for yourself. It is, your house consists, as we say, your physical family, extended family, maybe spiritual family, believers, mentors in your life, people you're speaking into their lives, that we see each other, we sit together, we speak together, we are responsible for each other. And for sure, a believer, at least 1 or 2 of them, unbelievers, that you are busy reaching out to, maybe your neighbor, whatever, because it's not an overnight process. It's a relationship that you build. And this is now your house. And now you need to you are the house leader. You are the house priest, whatever you may call it. And you are now responsible for this house, and you need to go home and come back to me next week and tell me what are you going to do to minister and make sure that all the needs and all the whatever, because the unbeliever wants to know Christ, the believer has got maybe a business problem, but your wife has got a what problem, and how are you going to build this thing in what you're ever going to use so that we can build this house. And it becomes a strong house. Not more than 12 people in this house. Then further on, we take now this house and we say to ourselves, how are we going to structure this house? Because there are two basic structures in society. There is a business structure and there is a relational structure. There are no other structures. I don't know of any other structure. No one of them is wrong. When we take a logistical a business structure that is built hierarchy-wise, with a boss on top, we need that for a spur. We need to know every bread that's coming in and what's happening and what's going out and how much money is coming in. Because understand, the spur has got its own program. It's got a menu, the program. It's got members, people eating there. And number 3, they've got members that's paying. Remember the 3 things. It's always there. And it is not wrong. That type of structure needs 3 things. It needs a program, that is the menu. It needs people to get there and it needs people to pay. It's absolutely normal and biblical and correct for a business structure. But you cannot take man and put him in a business structure because man is bigger than business. And the moment you put man in a business structure, you degrade him. You control him because the business structure is there for control. Because you can't run business if you don't control it. The business structure is there for things, for products, for output and whatever. It is not for structuring people. How do you feel? Do you feel very accommodating that you are in, Binnelandse Sake, in interior home affairs, they've got my name and ID. Man, they know about me. The computer knows you. The computer knows you. You're nothing there. You're just on a computer. Since when will people feel very excited, that the system may know me? And the interesting thing in terms of churches, because churches are business systems. And the church are even battling to get a list of who is in the church. That's at least the number 1 thing you need to have, is a membership list. And all over, they're battling even to get a list of the system, whatever to do with them. And you see, but there's another system that God has given us, and that system has got one name, and that name is family. Maybe I can take this one for now. I must put it up. My daughter gave me this last Christmas or whatever. Family. We always wrote about family life books and whatever. Family is our refuge from the storm, our link to the past, and our bridge to the future. This is God's system that He has given us. His family. Let's put it there. This is God's system. The beauty of this system is that you don't need to create it. It's already there. The beauty of this system is you never need to take people to the place, the building, the whatever. You just go with Him to His system, family. You just join Him in His system because His system is already existing. You just need to to develop His system and bring it into a place where it is functioningly 100% in terms of all the needs, pastoral, evangelistic, whatever. We'll get to that, how you can do that. But that is the system. And nowhere do we need to invite people to anything that's foreign and there's a culture here, because we always say, in this church system, that's a business system, we built our culture with our words and our expressions and whatever. And in essence, nothing of that is wrong, but it is foreign to other people. But we need all to conform to one culture. In a family, anyone can build the culture that is for them the right culture. Because culture differs, people, except for evil things that you can find in culture. Culture is a beautiful thing. And we need to take the gospel and repackage it in your culture. But guess what? I cannot create a culture for a Xhosa person. Man, I don't know even what I think. I don't know what is there. Nothing. He needs to repackage the gospel. The gospel doesn't change. The family doesn't change. But he needs to repackage the gospel in his culture, his family. Of course, taking out the evil parts and the parts that's not redefining it, that's not bringing life and whatever. But it is a familiar place to go. It is not a strange place when I invite you or you come to visit me at home. Home is home. All people do have homes. And we need to develop this home and see that it is maybe the best place that people are comfortable with, is homes. And the best thing of it is you don't need to plant it. You don't need to pay for it. It's already there. You see, church has become a separate department of a place where we go to with a different vision, a different program, more time, and and you need to give your time and energy, and it's always there. But family is not there. Family is always here. Family is always here. I no longer need people to take them. And maybe I'm working in a business scenario, or even I'm going to the tennis club. What do? We just bring family there. We just create the kingdom principles of family there. How? By implementing relational dimensions of respecting people, listen to them, motivating them, asking them the right thing. I don't need to make the tennis club a church or even a Bible study. It's wrong. We are there for the hearts of the people. Let them still play tennis, but the tennis brings the connection where we can connect to the hearts. You see, our focus is to get to the heart. And of course we want to package them, but guess what? They are already packaged themselves because they already have families themselves. And the moment they get to the Lord, guess what? We don't invite them to church. We just take them home and say, let's sit with you and let's talk about your home, your house. What's going on here? Where are you going? What is life for you? And we go in a process where we help them to find clarity about what is life for you in all 7 relationships. And we built a program according to this. And guess what? One of the most important ones you're going to address is money. Because this whole world is in a money mess. We must change the money system in this house. Because I don't find houses where there is excessive money. We don't need to talk about it. We've got lots of it. Because the money thing is important. We need to sort it out. So money is part of our family. It's part of discipleship. In this family, we have 7 relationships and we deal with all of them on a discipleship basis. What is the discipleship process? We'll come to that. But everything in your life is now important. And I'm just facilitating you to help you to come to the understanding of what you must do. I'm not telling you. I never tell you. Because the Lord must tell you. You are the captain of your ship. You are the captain of your family and your house. And you need to find out. And people say, the nice thing of this is, when people don't want it, they run away. But the people that do want it, they run to it. And it's interesting when I talk to people, they shoot, I get a guy, I know a guy, I'm angry with the pastor, and this and this and this, and everything I say is right, but he's in reactive mode. Then I started to help him, and I said, listen, okay, let's come to that. Let us just make sure that the problem here is not your pastor, it's not your church, it's you. Everything starts here. Guard your heart, for out of your heart is the offspring of everything, all your problems also. I say, step number 1 is, I think maybe everything you've said of your pastor and your church is maybe true, but that's not your problem. Your problem is you are confused. You don't know what's the answer. You don't know what to do. So, number 1, leave them alone and don't attack them any longer. They're just battling with the same problem that you're battling with. We're just drowning each other. So let's get you now here. Let's get you to the place. What is congregation? What is house? What is the way you're going to do it? What is the structure you're going to function in? You can read a lot about it. The next thing is we need to discern what is the leadership and in this whole thing. We must understand that leadership, there's authority out of relationship. There's not authority in position, in family. Of course, there's authority in me as the man in the house, in the leader. But I don't always talk to my son and say, listen, I've got final authority over you. Just remember this and this and this. Okay, talk to me out of your heart. You've got the position, but you don't function out of your position. You function out of your heart because there is needs that need to be met. And maybe sometimes you need to draw a line that is not a nice line, but it's the best line. But we on average, we function out of hearts because leadership is a heart, especially when we talk about congregation. It's not ruling over people. It is authority in people's lives. We facilitate these people. We help them to get to a better place. Okay, we don't organize these people. We synchronize them. We synchronize them. We don't take over their lives. We don't take over their decisions. And we need to, that's a subject on its own. How must I as leader function so that we can facilitate? A guy like him is very good. Maybe one day he can give us something on that. The new form of leadership starts with, especially concerning congregation, is facilitating. It's not rulership eventually. Okay, then we see number 5 is that everything is about create community and family. Wherever you go, create community. I remember David Watson always said it. He said, wherever you go, create community. Create community where there is relationships, heart-to-heart connections, love is flowing. Don't worry if it's the tennis club or your neighbor or whatever. Create community. Get connection. Let people feel they are connected, accepted, loved, seen, and whatever. Because that is what being human is all about. Forget them and, I will sign you up on a program and I will get the tithe out of you and you will become a volunteer or a this or a whatever. That's not the point. That's the doing part. If that comes sometime along the road, it's fine. But for me, it is actually all about you. It's about your heart. It's about who you are. I want to see you becoming successful. I don't want you to join me to make me successful. I am already successful in Christ. I just need to live it in my family, in my house. I need to live it there. So I need to create community. And that community is actually, as we said, it is the family. People, just think about it. The thing that brought me to this discovery, you won't believe it, is money-wise. I discovered that the greatest key and the greatest secret to money is family. Wealth is never created. Wealth it doesn't reside in businesses. It's in families. We have certain guys made a study why wealth in certain families lasts 3 generations, but in other families 100 years and more. And he came to this one only conclusion, Those people that go on for 100 years or more has got an incredible, defined, running family setup. When you read it and see what they're doing, it is incredible. The wealth creators are experts on family. They are not number one experts on business. They are experts on family. It is incredible, and that's the way they keep wealth, they create wealth, and they multiply wealth is through family, nothing else. Family is the key to birth, to relationships, to growth, to provision, caring, wealth creation, values, education, schooling, business, backup, mission, congregation. Now let me tell you, if family is the origin of all of that, why we don't use family? It's already there. It is the key. It will never change. It is just we that have never seen it. That family is the key to all of this. And if we don't restore the family in South Africa will never be restored. We will not lead 1,000 independent or million independent people to the Lord and suddenly the country will be saved. We will need to get people to get to a place where they need to understand that as a saved person, my responsibility in the kingdom is to go back to my family and create the kingdom there. As a father, as a husband, as a businessman, as a friend to him, and as a friend to my neighbor that doesn't know the Lord. That is my congregation. That is my house. Forget about the rest and focus. Because the devil wants you to have relationships with everyone, but it is so thin, it's affecting no one. Get people of I have resigned from a staff, whatever, to get air again in my lungs. Because I cannot be at everything for everywhere, for everyone. And I said, listen, this is my lines. I've got these people. If you want to come in here, you need to make an appointment with me because my house is full. But I can be a leader, I can be a fivefold minister and have influence, but I needn't to be run around the whole country and have 300 people on my list. It's not necessary. You know what? I tell you, I can send this manual to a friend of mine in any country in the world. He can read it, and with the help of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, they can create community, and they can run congregation life like mad without me. I don't even need to be there. The Father, Son, and Holy Spirit is enough. Yes, when we can get there, it can help a lot, of course. But we've seen ourselves as indispensable, Nothing will happen. It will. Let us tell people. So we need to create community. I've got a friend of mine, he said to me, he so dearly want to plant a church in the Karoo. I said, my friend, number one, we don't no longer plant churches. Okay, we don't plant congregations. So, out that one. I said, okay, what can you do? I said, what does the Bible say we must do? We must disciple. Okay. Can you disciple? Yes, you can disciple. Okay, tell me, do you have the contact there? Yes, I've got many friends there. I said, tell me, do you have a car? Yes. Do you have petrol? I said, why are you still sitting here? Why are you not going to move? Move, man. Get in your car and move. And please don't tell them when you go away there, please don't plant a congregation. Don't plant anything. Just stay in your heart. Just stay flowing. Just stay organic. Reach another heart, another relationship. Stir up the relationships. Get people to consolidate around their houses, that they can focus on their houses. Yes, maybe once in 3 months we get the 4 or 5 houses together for a whole day in a place like this and we have fun. And please make sure you have the castles and the whatever, because that's more important than the other stuff, You have the because it must be fun, because church was never fun. Congregation, family needs to be fun. Not that fun is the only thing. But we can have conferences and everything, but our focus is my house and my family, and those that I am responsible for. And I'm no longer going to run around in 10 directions, and nothing is actually happening. We're just thinking. We must find a system eventually closed down that allows us to be freely what we are. We are not the same, we are diversified, but what can bind us together? And I believe that if we can maybe, let's say, even study what is family, we will get to a place where we will understand that family can accommodate us. And we will get to a place now where we will talk more about how can we, say in leadership manner, organize family around the houses to facilitate and synchronize these houses, that we can still be one thing. Because we are one thing. We don't become one thing, we are one body. We are the body and the bride. We just need to do something to get it manifested in a decent way.